says here we should work in teams. Who wants to be my spotter?
I don't think you should be doing too much gambling tonight, Alan.
Gambling? Who said anything about gambling? It's not gambling when you know you're going to win.
Okay, this week.
We're free! Oh my God. Starting off early.
We're kicking it off. This is the Full Tilt Dynasty podcast. I'm your host with the most time on his hands, Tom Sybil FF. Joined, we got the trio back together this week. It feels like it's been so few and far between and forever. But to my right over there, drinking his elegant wine, is my mate FF_RTDB. That's Jacob Sanderson. You can find most of his stuff over there at Player Profiler. And down below me, you've got Big Billy FF with his rock out. All hail Jordan Love in the background is right. Best of luck to you this week,
I'm
Billy.
so excited. It's been a long time since I've been this excited for a Packers game.
Wow,
See,
you're more excited to watch Jordan Love than you get to watch
I think he's just
Joe Rogan play quarterback. Sorry, Aaron Rodgers.
No, so this is my take. This is my take. Is we're either going to have Jordan Love or Aaron Rodgers on the roster next year.
That's true.
And I don't think we should make that decision without seeing Jordan Love play football. So I'm so flipping excited to
I'll
see
tell you what,
what
you
on
could
earth
not
this
ask
guy's
for a
gonna
better
do.
defense for him to play against.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm so excited.
And I'm glad he gets Devontae back. That would have sucked if he had to do it with like Lazard and MVS and Cobb.
Yeah, this is going to be a great week. I'm so flipping
55
excited.
combined touches for Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. Okay, look, guys, as I said, this is the Full Tilt Dynasty podcast. Today's episode is Baker Gate. Obviously, with the finger pointing between Odell and Baker, and obviously, can I just start off the show today by just apologizing for thinking that Baker Mayfield was going to turn a corner this year when we picked our MVPs? Yeah. I'm so wrong. He's so bad. He's so bad. And Christian,
I'm with you.
Homie, Christian, look, I'm sorry, homie. He's bad. He might be he's a fine NFL quarterback. I want him off of all my fantasy teams. He is brutal. I expected him to be a safe pick in the Scott Fish Bowl, and he has been so hurtful. Mac Jones has been better. It is rough.
I was with
Odell
you, by the way.
town.
Like I was weighing on Baker after the rookie season. I mean, how could you not be? And then he was so bad his second year. I was a believer going into last year. That edge that he gave us the end of last year gave me enough hope. But he's been real bad. I mean, at this point, since that rookie year, he has been terrible his whole second year, terrible his fourth year, and he was kind of half and half last year. That's like 80% terrible. I'm pretty out on Baker right now.
Yeah, it's hard to be in, right, Billy? I just get the third man in here. Obviously, Jacob and I are very closely invested in this, as this has been an argument dating back to the home league's creation in 2019 that I have been out on Baker. Where do you stand here? I am a lifelong doubter. So where are you at?
I'm so conflicted on Baker Mayfield. I watched him light our ass up for years playing at Oklahoma. Watched him go to the NFL, and he looked great.
Don't you mean you watched him at Texas Tech and then leave Texas Tech?
Yeah, for Mahomes. So I mean, it all worked out.
Yeah.
But besides the point, like, we watched Baker just look so good his first year, rough his second year.
Husker, what up, homie?
Love Husker.
Part of me wants to be like, they're in a run-first offense, and also part of me wants to say we all saw the video. Like regardless of what you think of drama, regardless of what you think of anything here, we can't deny the fact that we watched a video to Everybody Hurts of him missing, like, probably one of the most talented wide receivers from the last 10 years. I think everyone can give Odell that. Just miss him.
Yeah.
Like, part of me wants to say we've thought Odell was washed for a little bit. Jacob's been championing him, but like between Odell and Jarvis Landry, like there's something missing there. So
he's never been higher than QB 18 in 4-point passing touchdown leagues, and I'm just gonna check right quick. That league has bonuses, but like, I don't know what he's been in 6-point passing touchdown leagues, but it can't be much better, if not worse.
No,
right? Like he doesn't even have a Kirk Cousins like floor, and he had OBJ, and they brought in a tight end for him. Say what you want about Hooper, but
they have several tight ends.
He's a fine, right? But they have fine NFL tight ends, right? Like a good coaching staff. We expected it to go up after the Kitchens thing, and it stayed the same.
This is where my issue with Baker.
I'm done.
My issue is just he's set up in a position really for so much success. I mean, look at what Tannehill and Cousins would be two analogs that are kind of in similar situations where you have this, incredible running back, be it Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry. They have that in Nick Chubb. They have two of them in Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So 100% of the time, they have one of the best 10 running backs in the NFL on the field. Yeah. They've got this really great offensive line. With Jedrick Wills coming in as a rookie, you have these elite guards that they've had for over the years of Baker. When Zeitler was there, Batonio, of course, an all-pro, and then add in Conklin. And, yeah, I mean, the wide receivers, they've missed some time, but Landry's always been serviceable. Say what you want about Becca. I mean, he's definitely a good starting wide receiver in the NFL.
Andrew, I see your question.
We will. The eliteness is. But
Andrew, we see your question. I will get to it.
He faces people that have to come up into the box to defend against Nick Chubb in this offensive line. He gets so many play action opportunities to defense the offense. Like, you look at guys like Tannehill and Cousins who constantly grade out as these elite real-life efficiency quarterbacks. And everybody looks at them and you go, okay, well, they're not actually as good as a number say because they have so many things tilting in their favor. Baker has all of those same things in his favor, and yet he looks average as fuck. So it's like, what would it be? Right?
DJ,
it's just so
look. Sam Darnold shit the bed the last few weeks, and DJ Moore was still more productive than Odell with Baker Mayfield. That's a fucking problem. That's a big problem. And it almost, when you watch the video, it almost looks deliberate at times, right? There was the one that I remember where he had it was weird. It was like the inside receiver ran a clear out and both outside guys ran comebacks. Baker looks at Odell on the right, goes to the left anyway, and throws a horrific pass. So I don't know. There are rumors that the connection wasn't there and that it was forced, but I know we opened the show with it. We're going to move on here real quick into other news and answer Andrew's question here, but out. I'm just out. I'm done. I'm over it. If I miss on him, that's fine. Okay, Andrew John with a question here. Again, what up, Andrew? Tough question. You need to start 4 of these guys: Peterson, Rondale, Nico, and Moody. Kadarius Toney, Hyde. If J-Rob is out, could you please rank them? Thank you, guys. I hope this is
a really deep league.
Yeah,
I think if it's not a deep league, I'm assuming your entire team is injured or on bye. Which, I mean, I have a couple of those.
I'll give mine first. Okay, so Rondale's in for sure. Nico Collins is in for sure. Kadarius Toney is in for sure. I'm playing Peterson, then Mooney, then Hyde. That's me.
Okay. I will play Toney first. I'm going to talk about Toney a little bit later. I would then play Billy. Who does your boy Mooney play this week?
Oh boy, I wasn't prepared.
Oh, they play Pittsburgh. Yuck.
Yeah, that's why I'm not playing.
I would play Toney for sure. I would absolutely play Hyde if J-Rob is out, just because I think he's going to catch like 7 dump offs like he did last week and plot his way to 12 points. I like Rondale just based on Hopkins probably being out. Green's out for sure. Even if it's Colt McCoy, like McCoy is going to probably dump it off quite a bit, short line of scrimmage. So I think Rondale could rack up 6, 7, 8 catches.
Couple screens, yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure I want to play Peterson in his first game. I kind of want to see how that shakes out. So I'd go with Nico, I guess, there. Yeah, I guess the same as you guys, except I take Hyde.
Okay, Billy?
Give me Toney.
Yep.
So Toney, probably Peterson, just because RB sucks right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you just, if you have him. Mooney, Rondale.
I knew you'd pick Mooney.
You guys are sleeping on Carlos Hyde, baby.
I probably am.
I'll tell you what, if J-Rob misses, Hyde's going to get like 12 PPR points. It's not going to be pretty, but he's going to get them.
Yeah, I mean, it's very true, right? 14-team league and have Swift and DK on bye.
That's tough.
Would love to see Odell in a Seahawks jersey. Imagine that 3 wide receiver set with Russ cooking. Easy-ass schedule. Hey, I agree, but as I tweeted out, right? You can add as many receivers as you want. Actually, go check that tweet out right now. It's doing fire numbers. Very proud of it. You can have all three of those wide receivers on the field. They're still going to run it into the A gap. You can't change Pete Carroll, right? You can't do it. Tennessee is basically saying we're going to not change our plan, even though the guy that our offense is built around. Carolina, do you think they changed their game strategy and plan? No. Teams that are built one way will play one way because that's what they know. It's not what we want to hear, right? And it's not what most smart people would deem correct, but that's how they're playing. Odell in Seattle would be fun if Russ got to throw the ball 40 times a game because you're not covering those guys, right? But you would think with their key running back likely out for the season with a neck injury and a bunch of backups and injured backs that they'd stop running the ball. Nope. And Russ isn't changing it at the line, right, to throw passes because Pete Carroll fired his coordinator for throwing it too much. Russ is likely to get benched for changing it to a throw. So
do you know why Pete Carroll would sign Odell Beckham?
Why?
So that he can face more cover 2 to run against.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
any one of you trading?
Like, I guarantee you, Pete Carroll, he would be like, "Oh man, I really hope we get Odell Beckham. I bet we'd get a lot of 6-man boxes to run Penny and Collins into." Like that would be his entire thesis of the Odell signing. I would love to see 100%. It from a real life perspective because it would basically be the Bucks. It's okay, DK is Evans, Lockett's Godwin, and Beckham's AB, and then we just everybody's going to be facing single coverage, and they're going to make a bunch of fun plays. But it'd be like how the Bucks always pass. It would just be that, but with half the passing volume. So for real life, it would be awesome. For fantasy, it'd be frustrating, but it'd be still fun to watch.
I was gonna make that tweet originally about the Ravens, right? But I figure I talk about them so much that nobody would care. But this is how it would go for Baltimore, and why I don't want them there because Beckham's lined up on the outside, and so is Hollywood Brown. Bateman shifts to the inside. There's motion handoff to Ricard on 3rd and 13 because that's what Greg Roman's gonna do. Right,
yeah.
It's just how they work.
The Ravens are pass heavier this year.
I
pass heavy the Seahawks.
Still,
I want to jump on this real quick, just because I just pulled these stats for the passion of this debate. So Baker Mayfield with Odell Beckham averages 230 yards per game, a 60% completion percentage, and 84.8 passer rating.
Damn, you got this quick. Okay.
Without Odell Beckham, he averages 260 yards per game, so 30 more yards, 64.4 completion rate, so 4% more, and a 95.5% passer rate. So a bonus 10 points on his passer rating.
It's weird.
So something about having Odell on the field.
I've never seen it before. I've never seen that kind of thing before.
Anyway, I just want to get that out before we stop talking about Odell.
The thing that's wild about it is it truly is bizarre. I get when you see those numbers, you see those on-off splits, the desire to sort of, credit Odell as the issue. But you look at the catchable ball rate, and 62% of Odell's targets have been catchable since Baker got there. That's one of the worst marks in the entire NFL. So it truly is he has some sort of force field around him where when Baker decides to throw it to him, he just rifles it into nowhere. I don't understand. It's super bizarre. But probably best for all sides. And not the right routes or whatever you want to say.
Look, any one of you trading Judy or Higgins for J-Rob in a second at a 12-team Superflex start 12. If it is a dynasty, there's not a chance in hell I'm doing that. If it's redraft, I'd consider
how would you trade a second in redraft?
Oh, yeah. keeper.
If it's a second round pick in the startup next year, yes.
Yeah.
I would not.
I'm not moving. No.
For the record, I'm honestly I've come around on both Robinson and Henderson, just in the sense that
me too.
Look at this year, man. Look at how unpredictable the running back position is. If you can get 1 year of RB1 production, that might be good enough, right? That, you never know how much you're going to go. So I've shifted my views a lot in running back, just watching how this year's gone. So I've bought a little bit of J-Rob. I think I bought him in 1 league. I bought Henderson in 3. But that being said, I still prefer Judy and Higgins.
I think here's how it goes for me. It's always situational. If your team is right there, I have a few trade offers, including 2nd round picks out for J-Rob right now. A receiver and a 2nd round pick, out for J-Rob right now, even though he's hurt. I think he's locked into a role now that could push a 70-30, 60-40 split next year. So he's going to be viable. I think. If anything, I'm trading Judy. I'm not trading Higgins. But I think it would be more than J-Rob in a second. So
here's the one way I'd look at this: J-Rob and Henderson similarly, because I mean, there's a lot of similarities between the two of them. Although I probably like J-Rob more, just in the sense I think he's better, and also, the Urban might not be there next year, right? So he might not have.
Hopefully, not be there next year.
So like it's a little different. Where I think McVay really loves Akers and is going to want to play him. If a new coach comes into Jacksonville, they might have no such loyalty to Travis Etienne. And also Etienne's just never established himself.
Could J-Rob survive 3 straight coaching, like 3
could
different
be.
Coaches? Like that's insane.
Could be for sure. This would be my take on it is I think people are overestimating the cost a little bit. Like let's say you move a late first for James Robinson. So I did this in a league where I lost this last week because he got hurt. So I lost by 1 point, but I was 7-0 going in. And so, I mean, my first is presumably going to be 9, 10, 11, or 12. And I tossed a first for J-Rob and a third. And my thinking is just, people sort of look at it. It's like, okay, if he performs one RB1 season and then you never get that again, like the first is gone in the wind, it's not always that simple. So like, first off, let's just say you ride out the season, what was he worth this off season, even after Travis Etienne got drafted? You could easily get a second for him. So it's like if you move a late first to a mid second and early third for the rental of James Robinson just for this season, to me that's worth it. And plus there's so many other things that can happen. I mean, you can get a second contract as a starter. You can just flat out make Etienne irrelevant. There can be injuries. There's so many different things. So I just think when people should consider that in there.
Yeah, like I said, it's all team dependent, but for now we're wide receiver people, I think, for the most part. I think that's kind of what it's come to. Before we move on, Andrew, Titans not changing is why I'm torn on Peterson. That's fair. Great point. Hey, well, you're welcome. Thanks, guys. Can't wait to hear the rest of the show. Much appreciated. And then, of course, this last little nugget here. My friend Matt asked Collins yesterday because of bye week, and Collins goes to University of Arkansas every year to hit on girls in college bars. Okay, can't attest to that. But he told my friend Russ is coming back week 11.
I
Look,
thought
if
the
your
only
friend
people
is
that
right,
people hit on in Arkansas were their relatives.
Yeah. Wrong
A state.
Okay. Oh yeah, wrong. Yeah.
Is there a difference?
Wow.
Sorry,
okay,
Billy. You're our Southern United States correspondent.
If your homie is right, tell him to get in touch. He might become a full tilt Dynasty correspondent. I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll
Cody Carpentier's source was super wrong, so we can't rely on him. For the breaking news, look, other news before we move on. Look, we are going to do a mock draft today, but we're going to do a little differently than we've done it in the past, just to keep things, cool for the podcast listeners, devoted people. We appreciate all of you, right? Look, man, lots of stuff. The Rodgers thing. I just want to talk about this briefly with you guys, but look, I'm gonna stress it with this. I think I've said this on the show before. I'm going to continue to say it. I don't give a single fuck about your political views. I don't care. I don't care about what you feel about vaccinated and unvaccinated. I don't take any of that into consideration in my fantasy football, nor do I seek it out to interest. I don't care. What I do care about are the people in your leagues that do care. And we are a fantasy football show, so that's what you're going to get from us. Now, I will admit the interview with McAfee today had me cackling to myself at work. My coworkers were staring at me. Oh, it was hilarious. McAfee trying not to laugh when he mentions it. The whole thing was perfect. But I don't care about that. What I care about is there are people in your league right now that are worried about Aaron Rodgers moving forward for whatever reason. And you should be reaching out to those fantasy managers. And I know the person that I made this trade with listens to the show, and I'm not going to say who it was, but I think you're a moron for trading me Aaron Rodgers for Baker Mayfield.
Tossing viewers out the window.
He'll keep listening. Trust. He'll keep listening. Look, you guys all know him well. In Cincinnati.
Oh,
you know him well.
I got it.
I think you're an idiot. You're worried for seemingly no reason. Yes, playoff stretch run. Go reach out, even if it's a 1-year rental. If he retires, it's worth it. So, guys, I just want to ask you guys: did you go out today and seek out Aaron Rodgers trades or pokes and prods? Because people tilt, man. They read the Twitterverse or the Bird app. They talk to their homies. They start to panic, and this is a move that can help you win at the end of the year for sure. So, how much digging did you guys get done today?
I sent out a couple DMs. Most people were kind of just against it, or I owned Rodgers in that league.
Well, I assumed you owned most of them.
I was on a campaign. If this is his last year for the Packers, I want him on my team.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right.
But that's besides the point. Yeah, I really don't see much to take away from this in terms of fantasy. Jordan Love is going to start for this week. Maybe next week, it seems like. There's the potential that Rodgers comes back at next week. I think with the 10 days. But besides that, if you can go out and get Rodgers on a discount right now, go do it immediately.
Okay, what's your discount? What's the quarterback you're willing to go to? Because people say go get him at a discount. What's your discount? What is it?
Right now, if I had a contender team and I was already good at quarterback, like I had a quarterback.
Darnold in a 1.
Was that?
Darnold in a 1.
Oh, yes. Fucking give me Rodgers.
Okay. Baker in a 2.
Give me Rodgers.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, people, I got to ask because it's dynasty, age, and draft picks. So people are weary about that kind of stuff.
My line was if people were scared.
Matt Ryan in a 2.
Oh,
yes.
In a second.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd throw Tannehill out there. Like, if I can get Tannehill straight up.
See?
Like, give
I
me
was working my way. I have a list.
Tannehill and Tua were going to be the ones I was going to. And Mac Jones. People love Mac. People can't get off Mac Jones' dick right now. I'd move him for Rodgers.
That's true. I see on the walkabout, Tom Lee and I run through this trade game every week. So actually, we didn't do a show this week, which I apologize because we missed the time. But I had the list right here. So I figured I'd ask. Jacob, where are you?
Yeah, I'm similar to Billy. I didn't get the chance to send in offers because my Fridays are Friday is like my craziest day of the week because I don't know if you guys have ever tried to write a DFS column, but trying to get a DFS column written that publishes Friday night when you can't write who your plays are until you find out about 17 different injury reports on Friday afternoon is a high stress afternoon. So basically, as soon as I get the final injury reports, then I just lock myself in my room and write for 3 hours, and then I gun that out, and then I try to do some cooking or some cleaning, usually one of the two, and then I come on the show. So I did not have any time to make offers.
Yeah.
But I definitely plan to tomorrow morning.
Yep, 100%.
I like Aaron Rodgers for sure. I thought he was undervalued already. I think people overvalue longevity at the quarterback position. I mean,
I agree.
We chase running backs like Taylor and Swift and Najee because we think we get 3-4 years out of them at the running back position, and that looks like an eternity. But then you get presented with 3-4 years of QB1 at quarterback, and it's like they barely even have any value because they're so old. It's like I know that the range is different, but it's still 3 to 4 years. So in general, I think Brady's undervalued. I think Stafford's undervalued. I think Rodgers is undervalued. Yep. I would trade Tannehill for Rodgers. I would trade Tua for Rodgers. I would consider Jalen Hurts for Rodgers. Mac Jones.
What about a 20? What about a 22 or a 23 first straight up?
Easily, unless I have reason to believe it's more likely to be early than not. Actually, 22 first, I don't even care. I would trade an early 22 first for Rodgers. If it's a 23 first from a bad manager, I wouldn't, but that would be it.
Okay, fair. Hey, look, that's kind of our news. We hit 25 minutes. I didn't expect to get there, but we appreciate the chat. I mean, hey, it's good. We honestly had not a whole lot planned running into the mock draft, so we appreciate the love, the conversation. The last thing I just want to touch on is Henry Ruggs. It's brutal. The whole situation. The fantasy, because again, I don't care about the rest of the shit. I care about how this is going to, I care, but it's not for this show, right? That's a whole different thing. Yeah. I care about how this is going to be affecting all of my Derek Carr teams. So, Jacob, while I prepare the next little bit, can you just walk us through what you think is going to happen with that offense and Derek Carr? Do you think Odell's viable? What do you think the Raiders go out and do? Do they go back and get John Brown again? What do you think are some options for the Raiders right now?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, yeah, putting aside all the real life ramifications, and we've talked about that on other shows and on Twitter, and obviously it's just incredibly sad. From a strictly football lens, Ruggs is like one of the worst players you can take out of any offense from a fantasy perspective because he doesn't really open up targets for anybody. I think people. I wrote a thread about this like 2 weeks ago about sort of why I thought his breakout was a little bit unsustainable because he wasn't actually drawing that many targets. He was at 14.8% of the targets. That's not a lot. So that's not really opening up that much more opportunity for an Edwards or for a Renfro. I think that they pretty much go on unabated. Ruggs' target share, the exact same as Zay Jones' target per route run. So basically, if you open up Zay Jones's amount in the playbook, he's probably going to take a similar amount of targets, maybe a little less. So, you know, if anyone's excited about Bryan Edwards, I would happily sell to that person. I don't think his role changes much. What does change is that you can't teach 4.2 speed, man. I mean, that's the thing about Ruggs, and that was sort of the debate when he's a first-round pick. It's like, is he going to be productive as these other guys that went there? Probably not. Can he still do a ton for the offense? Yes, and we saw that last year. The on-off splits for the Raiders offense with and without Ruggs were drastic, and Ruggs didn't even play well for the most part last year. But you have a guy who runs 4.2, just running down the field on post routes. You can't not have safety help there, and it opens up everything for the rest of the offense. So it's really, really unfortunate for the Raiders. Yeah, I think if you get Beckham, it helps a lot. I mean, Beckham doesn't have that level of speed anymore, but he is still a deep threat. He's still a guy where if he's running down the field, it requires safety help. He definitely opens things up for people in other ways. I think that that's probably one of the best fits for Odell Beckham. I had that listed. I did a power rankings. That was my number one location for Odell Beckham. So I would love him there. If not that, I don't know. I mean, like, I kind of like Zay Jones, honestly, but I think not going to run a 4.2. So
I think it's more fixed. Like Djax is out there, right? So I think that's
he can help.
Probably a more viable option. Jacob, please. I need you to check our private there. I think Djax is more viable. Billy, real quick before we move on. Derek Carr, how are you viewing it? What changes to the offense? Are you up or down? I'm not asking this because I have a first-round pick in our league of record or anything, and I'm rocking Derek Carr. It's not what this is about at all. It is exactly about that. Where are you at right now, and how do you think this changes?
Yeah, I know we talked about this a little bit in the chat when the news first broke, and a lot of it right now I'm viewing it as I think it's going to be business as usual for them. They run a very kind of plug-and-play offense. They have a slot guy. They have an alpha in Darren Waller, and they have a field stretcher in what was Ruggs. And now they have someone who kind of fills a similar role, obviously not to the same extent in Zay Jones, but kind of can fill that same area, that same level. I'm not too scared about Derek Carr because a lot of his fantasy production was coming through the other two pieces of that offense and Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller. His yardage was predominantly coming from them. There were moments, streak plays with Ruggs, but there was also that with Zay Jones. I think I'm less worried about how this affects Ruggs or how this affects Carr and more about how this affects some of those other players like Hunter Renfrow, who maybe, you know what, there's a less space available in the middle of the field on some of those breaking routes. But for the most part, I'm not too terrified about the prospects of that Raiders offense.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Yep. No, I get it. I'm
also
panicked. I'm worried.
I feel like this shouldn't go as said. And again, not to speak to anything that happened. We've already all addressed that. If Ruggs is on your roster, he should be on your roster.
Yeah,
I don't think not playing the NFL ever again.
I don't see any way that happens.
I have like one real life take, which is just that I've seen some people, very rare minority of people. So to be clear, but like some people just like really upset about how certain people are reacting to it. And like that shit drives me nuts. Like especially with the Carr thing. Like
I was going to address that after the show.
Like I don't know. I watched all Derek Carr's comments. Personally, I couldn't echo them anymore. I mean, to me, it's like
he's a good dude.
Like frustrates the hell out. Like Henry Ruggs is gonna get punished severely by the justice system. Like, he's going to spend a significant amount of time in a jail cell, and as he should. I mean, everything that he did was extremely wrong, and wrong in foresight to get drunk and then get behind the wheel and drive 150 miles an hour. I don't understand what our society accomplishes by creating an Olympic sport out of who can condemn an obviously wrong action the most and who can get mad at other people for trying to approach things in their own way. It drives me absolutely up a tree. What he did was wrong completely, but like you're not progressing anything forward by trying to yell as loudly as you can from whatever rooftop nobody can hear you from how much you hate him. Like, it doesn't accomplish anything. Like, a guy like Carr who knows him, I'm glad that he's going to be there for him, because I just don't think that we should be in a spot where somebody makes, I don't know, I'll use the word mistake. People have issues with the word mistake. I mean, that's what it was. He made a mistake. It was a really costly mistake. It was a terrible mistake. It was a mistake that should never have happened. It was a preventable mistake. But I don't know. If we live in a world where someone does a really terrible thing, but then they deserve no love and they deserve no friends, they deserve to never move forward, maybe we do live in that world. It seems like we get closer to every day, but I don't want to live in that world. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. I don't know Henry Ruggs. I'm never going to, so I don't have any stake in this. But for people that do, to want to try and provide some sort of support and some sort of love, to me that is not synonymous with condoning anything that he did, and it drives me nuts when people get after people about that. That's all. That probably isn't a very popular thing to say, but
I echo that sentiment wholeheartedly. Like, the Derek Carr comments were amazing. Like, I posted a tweet saying, like, to go through as the face of that organization, to go through what he's had to go through the last month.
Oh my God!
Like, and to do it with the poise and the control that Derek Carr has had.
Yep.
Like, I know we have questions about his on the field talent. I think he's a great quarterback, but he's probably not the difference maker that someone like Mahomes or Josh Allen is. But Derek Carr is a phenomenal quarterback and a phenomenal leader of that organization. Yep,
I agree. Okay, look, we're at 34 minutes. We come back.
Big improvement over Baker for Odell Beckham.
Yeah, 100%. Oh God, when we come back,
it's not even a joke. Like Carr is just better than Baker. I don't think that's a commonly shared opinion, but it's a fact. It's true.
I know.
Let's go. We can't talk about Odell more.
When we come back, we are going to mock our way through a little mid-season draft here, okay? So sit tight.
101. I was saying 101, Odell, and Tom literally cut me off to send it to the parade.
Of course I did. Look,
always a hater.
I just want to get this out of the way here. While I get this all set up and looking decent here.
Look at that screen share.
I know.
Hey, yo, Tom, hit me with that F11.
Well, that's the wrong one.
Work.
Hold on. No, let's see. There you go.
Yeah, baby. There it is.
Look, did you know, guys, that if you go to Trophy Smack for championship season, and you're looking to buy a new trophy, which you should, by the way, because they look fantastic, championship belt, if you use your promo code TIPPLE and you add a championship ring onto your cart, that $60 ring is free. That's all you got to do. So just do that. Go to Trophy Smack, add that ring, treat yourself, and I don't know, do whatever you want. Give it to the winner of your toilet bowl if you want to. This is a fun gimmick, right? But use the promo code TIPPLE when you get there. Get that ring for free and load up on your championship merch. Okay, for the people that are just listening, what we're going to do through this mock draft is we're going to talk our way through it and not talk too long about each pick, but obviously things have changed with ranks, right? Ranks, perspective, injuries matter a lot. So every year at this time, we are going to do this mock, and we do this mock. So we're going to kick this off. It's 12-team super flex. I didn't mess that up this time. I know I did that last time. We fixed that mistake. It's PPR. It is Dynasty. I will be manually selecting the picks because Not saying that I'm smarter than sleepers ADP for drafting right now, but it is busted. So at least I'm not broken. So I'm going to be going
on enough drafts to update it.
I know. So I'm just going to be going by what I feel is consensus. Everybody cool with that? We're all caught up. We know what we're doing.
We're good.
Gucci. We're going to start this thing. We're just going to hit it right here. Are you sure you want to start the draft, boys? I'm definitely sure we want to start the draft. Oh, why is it auto picking?
Because you started the draft.
Okay, hold on. I thought I had this. I thought I had this figured out. I'm a moron.
Yeah, I'll take Patrick Mahomes.
yeah, I bet you will.
Yeah, no kidding. There it is. I'm so sorry, everybody. Hold on.
All right, just manually go back and set those.
Okay. Remove.
So have you ever heard of the one about where the person comes into the bar and says the thing?
It's not that bad. I'm so sorry, everybody. It is that bad.
Y'all see any good
auto
movies
pick. Why
lately?
is it on again? Update. I saw a bad one.
What was the bad movie you saw?
Aaron made me watch Lemony Snicket's Series of Unfortunate Events, and I hated myself for it.
Why?
Okay, because I thought it was bad.
Okay. For Olaf?
Honestly,
did Josh Allen just go first? Wow.
Yes. Josh Allen went first. Right there.
Is Tom gonna do it?
No, I'm like we're the only ones that believe in that. And we're gonna go Patrick Mahomes. First 3 players off the board: Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, and Patrick Mahomes. 3 quarterbacks in the Superflex format. Billy, you chose number 4. Where would this pick have been for you before the season started, and where are you looking right now? And I'm not going to force you to pick a Raven because
God, I wish I picked 4.
Well, I am going to pick a Raven. Spoiler alert, but it's going to be J.K. Dobbins. No,
it's going to be J.K. Dobbins.
No, prior to the season, I think this was going to be
something. Bell.
I thought this was going to be something pretty similar to how it broke down. Prior to the season, I think there was 4 top-tier quarterbacks, and I think there's still 4 top-tier quarterbacks. And
Herbert joined them for like a week, and then he pieced out again.
Yeah, there's no like big change here. So with that being said, once Tom resumes the draft, I'm going to go ahead and take Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
Prior to this season, he probably would have been the back end of this tier for me. He's been climbing up my rankings just a little bit because he's developing a lot as a passer. He looks really good throwing the ball. Like he's just looked so good. And yep, Justin Herbert going after me probably would have been up there too. But that's just what I love to see. Good things all around from him. He just forced Jacob to not take Jonathan Taylor. So now it's Jacob's turn.
Look, and this is why I'm going to explain it, right? Jonathan Taylor, especially after a week that he just had last night. Because by God, what a game. You selfish, greedy individuals were just screaming for more the entire game at the risk of his health, you savages. But he is quite clearly the RB1 right now. And at about pick 6 is kind of when you see the first RB tend to go off the board. It was Christian McCaffrey or Jonathan Taylor, but I think McCaffrey's injury leads up to Taylor. So, Jacob, you're sitting at 1.7. Right, where are you going and why?
Man, fuck it. I've had this take, that is very unpopular. I think it's shared by like 2 other people on Twitter.com. But if I don't live up to my own expectations, how will I ever follow through? So, look, I don't necessarily think that this player is actually necessarily the most valuable in Superflex Dynasty. But here's what I think. I think if you have confidence in your abilities to build a winning team, as I do, there is one asset that if they continue on their trajectory will become not just irreplaceable, but irreplicable, where you can get no other player that matches what they have the ability to do on their team. And so with the 7th overall pick, I will take Kyle Pitts, tight end Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah! Chaos! Okay.
I should stress that this is not, you can make the pick. Yeah.
Chaos!
Anyway, so this is
watching it burn.
This should be stated that I don't hate this pick at all. I'm on board, right? He's a wide receiver in a tight end designation, right? I think you're right. What you're seeing from Kelsey, Waller, Kittle, and friends this year is showing that this high. I thought at 111 he was gonna be there, but hey, I'll give it to you. That is pretty. Oh, that's pretty intense. So, Jacob, I know that you write an article, right, about the Pareto principle.
Yes.
How do you apply that to your draft strategies?
Man, to me, I think that is ultimately in drafting. I mean, number one, you're just always trying to look at, who can create this league-changing upside and how early and how easy is it to replace underneath. And so for me, I think that plays in the Pitt selection for sure. Is I'm looking at, I think there's a lot of ways to arbitrage production elsewhere. Like Jonathan Taylor, I mean, God bless, I love him. I literally, he was so good last night. I was sitting in the middle of my evidence lecture and I ordered a jersey. He was like a 25-yard line on that run. Thank you, Ryan. But to me, like, you can always find ways to buy running back production cheaper. You can either do that by buying a veteran like an Ezekiel Elliott or an Aaron Jones, or you can do that and spending all the way down and buying like a Leonard Fournette and getting like 80% of the production. I mean, with Pitts, like I can't guarantee it's going to happen, but if he's Kelsey within 1 to 2 years, like prime Kelsey, but he's going to be 23 at the time, which he's on track for, like there's just no way to arbitrage that. You can't find that production anywhere else. You can't find that youth anywhere else. You can't find the value anywhere else. And so to me, like I'm looking at, the Pareto principle I talk about is 80-20, 20% of your inputs create 80% of your value. I want Pitts to be one of those 20% because in that 80%, I can find other different options to try and manufacture points elsewhere, but I'm not going to match it with Pitts. So I know I'm a lot on the island, but that's where I come from with Pitts. Tom, I see you made your pick, so I'll stop yammering.
Yeah.
If you can explain it.
So the first round is completed when Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson by Billy. I did not force him to do that, regardless of what people always assume.
He was kicking
Herbert
me off the show if I didn't take
Herbert at 5.
Yeah,
that is a rumor and myth. Jonathan Taylor at 6, first running back. Jacob just explained Kyle Pitts. Christian McCaffrey at 8. Tyreek Hill at 1.9, because I actually wouldn't blame anybody for taking him there. Dak Prescott at 110. My pick was DeAndre Swift. Now, Jacob, this might come as a surprise for you, as in draft season, I was always drafting at 111. That is a tradition for me in every single draft. And I would say that I didn't want to reach for him early in the second. I'm now willing to take him in the first. I've completely flipped the page on how I view him and his usage with that team. And for me, it's a very clear 1, 2, 3 in the running back department. In fantasy football, it's Jonathan Taylor's DeAndre Swift, and it's still Christian McCaffrey to me until he shows that he's not amazing every game he suits up for. So for me at 111, right, especially in a draft like this, which is kind of how you'd see it go for the most part without trades, I think that having him as a second, third running back off the board, it's a smash every time. Now this is a pick that's very tough for me because I am super duper anti quarterback in the second round. I am super duper anti running back if my guys aren't on the board. However, for me, oh man, this is a tough pick, but I think it is hard to deny what Joey B is doing in the NFL right now.
I was hoping he came back to me, but that's okay.
It is a super flex format, right? So it is important to get your studs at quarterback, at least the first one. I've come around on the you do need good quarterbacks.
Joe Burrow, baby.
Oh God, I keep screwing this up. I'm so sorry. But I haven't come so far as to like, I'm going to take him back to back. I still think that's the wrong play, but I wouldn't blame anyone for taking 2 quarterbacks back to back. Jacob, you're back here at 2.6.
He's just bullying you. He said you were 1-2.
That's just rude. That's fine. Yeah. So if Chase lasted on more pick, I mean, wouldn't even been a discussion. I absolutely would have taken Jamar Chase. I have Pitts and Chase 1 and 2 among all non-quarterbacks in Superflex.
Interesting. He's past AJ Brown for you.
Yeah, he's number 1. I would take both Pitts and Chase before any running back, and I would take them both over any other wide receiver. So Chase is gone now. Metcalf, Adams, Hill are all gone. I'm looking at the running backs. I mean, there's a very clear top 4 for me with Taylor, McCaffrey, Barkley, and Swift. Look, I totally get the Najee thing. Peripherally, everything's lined up. He's got the youth, kind of. He's like a geriatric rookie, but whatever. He's got the youth.
He's a Calvin Ridley, a running
every
back.
Single touch. He gets a lot of work in the pass game. I just really don't think he's all that special of a talent, and that is not going to matter this year. Maybe it won't matter next year. Maybe it'll matter never, or maybe I'm just totally wrong. All those are possibilities, but for me in the second round of a startup, I'm just not comfortable taking a player that I'm not 100% confident in because of a mental aspect. Like, my issue is I'm someone where I hold strong to my priors on my players. And I think that generally that has been successful. Where take a look at like AJ Brown. He got off to the rough start this year, and I was like, no, this guy's awesome. I'm not dropping this guy in my rankings whatsoever because he's the best. And he came back and he looks phenomenal. I know that I'm not going to have that level of mental fortitude with a Najee Harris because I don't fully believe in him. And so if I have Najee and then for whatever reason injury hits or struggle hits, I'm going to be looking to sell him because I'm going to be panicking. I don't want to panic. So I'll take someone I do fully believe in. And AJ's a consideration, but I'm actually going to go with Justin Jefferson here, who would be my wide receiver 2, just ahead of AJ, who comes in at 3. And I'm thrilled, and I'm going to go and press the button because I realize that I actually have the ability to do that. Yes. But yes, I'm thrilled. I get started with Pitts and Jefferson, and we'll figure out running back and quarterback later.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all those statements. It's hard not to. Billy, you're back up here at 2.9. You just saw Kamara and Harris go off the board. You have Lamar Jackson. Where are you tallying up at this point for you as opposed to last year?
All right, I'm gonna make my pick, then talk about it. So that way I'll give you a chance to make the moves while we go. I'm taking AJ Brown here, and that a lot of times early on in these mock drafts, I like double tapping quarterback because I think the value you can get at the top of the quarterback position over some of these back half ones like Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins. It's just a lot of very, very strong value. So I'm going to opt to not double tap quarterback here since so few ended up going after I took Lamar, and take who I believe is still the wide receiver 1. And, Chase is creeping up. Justin Jefferson looks amazing. I still think AJ Brown is the wide receiver 1. And I'm, fuck. All right, never mind. I was so ready to take CD. And one of my other top 4 wide receivers was floating over to catch up with me. But unfortunately, I don't get to take him, as Matthew Stafford, Trevor Lawrence, Stephon Diggs, and CeeDee Lamb at the turn, then Antonio Gibson, Zeke, all go after. I take AJ Brown. Now I'm back on the board, and I'm kind of angry. I'm not enjoying how this broke.
He's tilted.
I'm just a tad bit, just a little bit tilted. And at this point, I would love to go running back, but I don't like the value that's saying at running back at this position. So, unfortunately, as much as I usually don't enjoy doing this, I'm gonna have to go 0 RB here. I'm gonna take the swing.
Welcome, he says.
I'm gonna take the next step, and I'm gonna look down my wide receiver board. And there's a few wide receivers here that I think are just an absolute talent that I think have every chance in the world to break out. But I'm going to take the one that I admitted I would probably still take over DJ Moore a couple weeks ago. I'm going to take Terry McLaurin at this slot. I think he's a great talent. Board. I think he's going to be amazing as an alpha. They have every chance in the world to get an uprate at quarterback next year. I love Terry McLaurin. I think he's succeeding with Taylor Heineke here. Give me Terry. That's all I got to say.
I'm triggered.
I know you are.
You would take him before DJ. So after that, of course, we had DeAndre Hopkins and Russell Wilson. Jacob, you went tight end receiver, youth strong as always. When your strategy comes to this point and you don't have your quarterback, the value at quarterback when you get to this point, and look, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 quarterbacks off the board. Is there another player you're willing to go with here, or you just kind of roll? I know at this point in the offseason, it was Justin Fields, Trey Lance. How much are you still there for them at this point?
I'm very torn here between two guys, and one of them is Trey Lance for sure. He's definitely my highest rated quarterback on the board. I'm still optimistic about Lance from a dynasty perspective. I mean, it's a bummer to me that he hasn't started yet, but as much as he did not look all that great in the one start he had, I think you can also focus on a lot of the positives, which is that he ran the ball like 16 times on designed runs. Look, I don't know if everybody remembers Lamar Jackson's rookie season, but he didn't exactly look like Dan Marino as a passer either. But what he did was he ran the ball. He had a lot of fantasy value, and he has progressed as a passer throughout. I think that Trey Lance, the nice thing with him is he has this built-in rushing floor where he can create fantasy value, even if he's progressing as a passer along the way, versus you look at guys like a Zach Wilson, like a Justin Fields, who up until this week was not running all that much. And if they're not passing well, you can't start them. All that being said, there's another wide receiver here who I think is a cut above all of the rest. And I think he has shown before his quarterback disintegrated into a steaming pile of poo, he was ready to go up into that top 5 dynasty wide receiver conversation. Look, we know that this team's management is going to be aggressive. If Sam Darnold does not turn it around, then he's not going to be the answer there long term. And so I'm absolutely going to click the button on Denniston Oliver Moore Jr.
Denniston Oliver Moore Jr. I love DJ Moore, as everyone knows. He's still producing at that top tier rate, even though maybe too early goated Sam Darnold has not totally kept up his production.
I wonder who goated them too early, Tom. I can't think of who.
There's still time when McCaffrey comes back.
Doesn't come to mind.
There's still time when homie comes back. I'm not overly look. I'm just gonna talk while I get these picks ready. I'm not totally panicked about my boy Darnold. When his rushing upside right now is insane, it's more than Kyler Murray's, so there's that for you. When McCaffrey comes back, I still think he's gonna put up to. And remember in the offseason when I said I would be totally happy with QB 15 to 18, that is right around where he's sitting now and has time to put up even more above average games at the quarterback spot. And Superflex, that's money. That's how I'm going to defend my my way too early call on Sam Darnold, so you guys can both suck it. Look, I'm at a spot right now. I am up after Hurts went after Moore, Kelsey, and Godwin. Look, I'm at a spot right now where I really got to make a decision. Running back doesn't entice me too much, right? Eckler, Mixon. I'm not even going to go there with Clyde, right? We got Chubb. Henry, obviously, I'm not taking at this point. So right now, I'm definitely looking at wide receiver, and it is tough, right? When you get into the late in the third round, it just starts to become kind of gross. But DJ Moore is gone, and this really hurts me. So I'm going to take my boy. I'm going to take one of my favorites. It's Cooper Kupp for me. Late in the third round, he's attached to Stafford. He looks like the absolute man right now, and I don't honestly don't see that changing.
And he's only 8 months older than A-Rob, so.
And he's only
Yeah, man. It's too bad A-Rob's in the witness protection program.
Yeah,
oh my God,
poor dude.
He's having egg noodles. He's having egg noodles with ketchup with Ray Liotta.
I saw a picture of him holding after he signed with the A-Rob jersey, the Chicago Bears one that just photoshopped help on it.
Oh God,
crack me up.
So
all right, Tom,
you get to this point in the draft, and for me personally, I'm starting to look around at who stands out. Now, going Swift, Burrow, and Kupp, I'm full on in the middle. I need to make a decision on competing or not competing, in my personal opinion, at this point. But for me, oh man, it's tough because I want a running back, right? I'm a sucker for the 4th round running back. If you're going to ask me, well, Tom, how many leagues do you win? That's not important here. What matters is that I'm a sucker for the 4th round running back, and there is one that stands out to me, and that is Javonte Williams. I am completely happy in the 4th round going Swift, Burrow, Kupp, and then ending up with Williams, who is stuck in a super boring split with Melvin Gordon and likely will be for the rest of time, it feels like. But I think help is on the way with in regards to Javonte. He looks the part, right? I'll admit Michael Carter and he both look the part in the NFL. So once that role kind of flips over, I think that's I definitely think that's how she's going to go. I thought Jacob was back up on the clock. Sorry. And Mega Man, I see that you're back. What up? I'm assuming you're going to hit us with some sort of wacky and wild trivia.
Ooh, please do.
While we're sitting here in our mock draft. That is kind of what you do. Chris went away for a while. Oh, see, I knew it. I got an easy one for you, he says. All right, well, we're ready for your easy one while I make this pick here to set up my guy, Jacob. Jacob, you're back on the clock here at 4.6. You've gone Pitts, Jefferson, DJ Moore. Oh, my goodness, Tom. Let's stop doing too much at one time. Make your pick in the fourth round here while I read this.
Yeah, I don't need to talk about this one. I talked about this last time. I was between Moore and Lance, and Lance is still here. So locking in Trey Lance, obviously a very youth-heavy start.
This is typical for your start, though.
Yeah,
this is your brand.
Usually, I go pretty youth-heavy at the start. I mean, my attitude on this is, I think early in drafts, okay, first of all, I think a lot of people just sort of see me as a youth chaser generally, which is kind of true. I think I tilt youth heavy at the top. The way I look at it is, in those first few rounds, it's really one of your few opportunities to marry production and value retention by going after these really young assets that also produce at the same time. And I think that, it's especially looking forward to 2022 in this draft, it's very easy for me to envision Jefferson and Moore both as wide receiver ones, potentially even top 5 upside on both. Pitts is a top 3 tight end. I think Lance is probably a QB1 when he starts because of the rushing, right? I want that opportunity to get both. And then as we get later into the draft, where a lot of people try to build out their youth, build out their bench, that's where I'm more open to backfilling with more productive, older assets at a discount. But anyway, youth heavy off the start, and you take it away, Billy.
Yeah, I was just waiting real quick before I make this pick, because I feel like it's going to be a fun one. And I know we have Mega Man's chat here, and we're ready to talk about that. But I do want to hammer home that we are doing a 2022 mock draft moving forward. And because of that, I'm going to take the person who's going to be back for the 2021 playoff run. And that's why Cam Akers is my...
Oh, I thought you were going to take the big dog.
No.
Who
Cam
holds
Akers,
the best,
baby.
Who holds the best rookie passer rating in NFL history?
Nam Cooten.
Who?
Cam Newton.
Nam Cooten.
I'm actually going to say Sam Bradford.
I'm going to guess Baker Mayfield.
That's probably a good guess. But anyway.
Billy, we need a guess.
We're all wrong. We are all wrong.
Oh, yeah, Cam Newton. Okay, all wrong. Lol, he says. He always does this.
Oh, he's going to give us multiple choice. Good.
Gee, thanks, Chris.
All right. Tom, get those picks in. I'll go ahead and...
I'm working on it. I am working on it. 100.
Prepping my next one. Oh, Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
So where are you at with Ridley right now in Dynasty? Are you what would be the most you'd give for Ridley?
For me right now, I'm probably at a point where I am trading something like, 2 seconds, and I don't know. I would probably trade like Jerry Jeudy in a 2.
Oh, okay.
For Calvin Ridley. I think I'm at that point.
Yeah, it's such a rough situation. I'd probably just be hands off.
I'll be buying Ridley, but I mean, you know me. There's an opportunity to try and add some risk to my team. I'll do it. Andrew asks in the chat, would y'all play Chuba over AP and Hyde if CMC is out?
Yes.
100% I would.
Yeah. Dan Marino,
our
Robert.
options, by the way.
Stop it. Who's clicking it? Dan Marino, Robert Griffin III, Tom Brady, Dak Prescott. Robert Griffin being there makes me really want to pick him. I don't think it was Brady because he was kind of bad in his rookie year. At least I think so. I think it's Dak. I think it's Dak Prescott, honestly.
I will also say Dak because I don't think he threw a lot of interceptions, and pass rating overvalues interceptions.
I'll go RG3 because I like chaos.
Sure. Also, no love for Justin Fields. The last game was so dynamic. Hey, I know, but Justin Fields hasn't been like he just went at the end of the 4th round here, Andrew. And I'm just going by how people are kind of treating him and how I feel like he would go in a current draft. I mean, Lance and Fields were both 3rd and 2nd round picks in startups right before the season. So I think that the drop is warranted. And part of the reason I think people aren't looking at his last game and being super excited is because Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray has spoiled the NFL. Those plays, that play that Justin Fields made in any, like 3 years ago would have been mind blowing. But we see it every week now with Lamar Jackson and Murray and even Hurts. So it was very good. It was a great play. It looked fantastic. I got great TikTok views off of that. So thank you, Justin Fields. But it wasn't that special to me because, again, I'm spoiled. I see it every week with my favorite player. Billy, you went to not going to bother trying to pronounce it, Tagovailoa. I took a shot. Was that close? I think that was pretty close.
That's pretty good.
I think that was that bad.
Tagovailoa.
Whatever. Look, what do we got? Robert Griffin III had it in 2012 with then Dak in 2016 with a 104. So Dak does have it.
Dak wins.
Griffin did have it.
Hey, Billy, why don't you take your stack corner and fuck off back to Wisconsin?
I had a good one prepped this week, but we talked.
I don't know where that voice came from.
I know. Jacob, you're up. Tua went, then Waller, then Clyde. We've hit 5-7. We're only going to do a few more rounds here. Actually, we could finish it in D's time. So I think we might stick this through, and I might just cut it on the pod version. But much love to everyone hanging in there. Andrew, you're much appreciated up in that chat. Chris, much love for you as well. Jacob, where are you going now? When you look at a team like this, this is for 2022. So where are you looking at this scenario moving? You've officially 0 RB is strong here. Clyde just went. He was the last one that I would really be looking at.
I mean, I'm tempted by Jones and Montgomery, but Jones is going to start next year, 27. He's going to turn 28 in the middle of the year. So looking at a 2022, I'm a little iffy on that.
Would he be a draft and trade? Like, would he be like a draft and trade?
Yeah, you would be. I just don't like to be that transparent about it. Like, I just don't like to.
Yeah.
I just feel like when you take, like, I've seen the situation, right, where people take these guys and it's just so obvious what they're attempting to do, and you take a guy who doesn't fit with the line. It's very rare that you actually get what you want to get out of it. So I'll take a guy who, I mean, look, there's a chance here we're doing super flex, even though it doesn't show it on the screen. That I'm taking a guy who's going to be one of the top 4 picks next year's. I don't take any enjoyment in it, and I've said my stance on it quite a bit. But I'm going to take.
I knew you were going here. Like if 5th round Deshaun Watson is just like a match made in perennial heaven.
Yeah, I really like it. And honestly, I don't like that every time we do a mock draft, I end up taking Deshaun Watson.
I feel like just for our brand, we shouldn't refer to that as a match in heaven, but.
Yeah.
Jacob's got a lot of followers. Maybe
it's almost as bad as when Chase took Kareem Hunt as his pick of the week and said he was going to smash faces.
Yeah. Oof.
Might be worse. Honestly, like I debate it. It's just I feel like obviously going into next offseason it's going to be a very important question as to like when do you pull the trigger on Deshaun Watson, and so while it's not a fun thing to talk about, I think that it's fair to draft him. And I mean, look, there's no doubt about his quarterbacking ability, so I think that's a fair spot to take him. We already have AJ Dillon in Dynasty. Andrew John says I traded away a higher 2nd rounder for him last week, and I have mixed feelings. I would not have mixed feelings about that. I can't remember the exact number. I haven't updated my rankings since about a month ago. But he would be around the RB, like back end RB2, high end RB3 range for me. Everything we've seen this year shows that he's really good at football. You got 1 more year left on Aaron Jones's contract, essentially. I know he took a 4-year contract. It was basically a 2-year contract with 2 voidable years. I mean, AJ Dillon's already factoring into the offense. Aaron Jones could get hurt. Aaron Jones could regress. Aaron Jones could be cut after a year. There's just so many different paths for Dillon to get value. And I like him a lot. I think he's really, really good.
Tom, how are you determining these picks? Just for my sanity.
For your sanity? It's 2022.
Just so I know, I'm just going down the list.
I'm currently just looking at where I've drafted these guys and just kind of taking it into account. Why?
Okay,
do you not like my calls?
But before you make a pick, I do just want to ask a question on Michael Carter there.
Yes.
I mean, makes sense.
So
People
have
love
you
Michael
not
Carter these days?
Have you not seen the Bird app's reaction to Michael Carter's role right now?
I'm
looking
all
into
over
2022 for young running backs. Yeah.
I am all over Michael Carter.
Like, and I wasn't.
He's not going to be inside my top anything at the running back position. But if he's had some good games, and at this point in the draft, that's all you need. But I was more curious just your justification of taking him there. I wasn't sure if that was your individual ranking.
Because I truly think that people love him enough at his age. And
Jacob's going to be taking him with the 0 RB.
No, that would be 1 RB, Billy.
Yeah,
I'm taking 0 of them.
It's just none.
So for me,
draft 16 wide receivers.
I know I'm going pretty quick here with the picks. Like I'm trying to get us through as much as I can, obviously. But guys, when you get to this stage in the draft, now you're getting into the 6s and the 7s. We're obviously drafting for 2022. Where you guys? I just wanted to, before I ask you guys where we're going. My picks here were Pittman and Higgins, 5'11" and 6'2". Pittman looks like an actual one. Jacob, I know you shat all over him in the offseason. You weren't excited for him at all. I was not either. I think we all agree that Higgins is a smash. He's a phenomenal player. I remember on Twitter there was a short period of time where people said that he couldn't eat while Chase ate, and he definitely did. So shush with that. But I think Pittman has worked his way into the number 1 role. I don't think Carson Wentz is going anywhere. He looks the part: speed, size, contested catch, touchdowns, production, and it's a second-year breakout. We love that. So I went, obviously my team right now is Swift, Burrow, Kupp, Javonte, Pittman, Higgins. I think you see a clear pattern with myself. After that, Aaron Jones finally walked off the board. Very murky situation there. I understand the slide. I mean, he was sliding to the 4th and 5th round this year. And then Baker. And then Lockett, looking at your team now with Watson, Lance, Moore, Jefferson, Pitts. Fantastic look for the 2022 season. Where are you going here? Does a running back finally come off the board? I know there's one still out there that may interest you. Is it now or is it never?
Well, I'm a remarkably predictable person. And look, hey, we recently learned that we weren't going to see this guy in 2021, but luckily we're drafting for 2022. I still have full faith in this person to come back and be a truly dominant presence when he returns. I don't care. I don't care. We're taking Michael Thomas. I still believe.
Respect, man.
That is not actually who I thought you were just about to talk about. Oh my God, that is shocking to me. Do you think, I want to ask a serious question.
I had Michael Thomas in my top 12 Dynasty wide receivers after week 4. I don't know. I am with these star wide receivers. I hold on. I'm still buying him everywhere. I still think
I want to ask a serious question.
Please.
Do you think Michael Thomas re-aggravated, in air quotations, his ankle when he saw that Winston went down, or do you think that it is a legitimate ankle re-aggravation? Because it seems oddly convenient that Winston went down and Thomas looked fine on the sidelines, and now I'm out for the year.
I think he re-aggravated legitimately. It's hard to get news sometimes at a Saints camp. Their most reliable beat reporter is Nick Underhill, who has everything behind a paywall, and so a lot of stuff doesn't trickle out. But I mean, he early signs, like a couple weeks prior to the bye week, all signs were pointing towards he was going to probably be back right after the bye. Then all of a sudden it became he was a few weeks away. There was some stuff that was happening that was more murky with that. I was already a little bit worried he suffered a setback at that point. He went and saw specialists on this re-aggravation. I just don't think you would, like, I just can't imagine like going to a specialist and then having that specialist keep up a ruse of yours that you re-aggravated a fake injury. It just seems a little much to me. He went to the specialist prior to that game on the Sunday. So I think it was a legitimate re-aggravation. I mean, really unfortunate. There's definitely not zero risk. I mean, it's definitely an opportunity that he comes back and he's not the same dude. But I also just think there's still a possibility he comes back as a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL, because that's what he was the last time we saw him on the field.
Right.
So I'm still going to buy him.
Yeah, that's very important to me to ask. And
Great.
if anyone's wondering, yeah, I kind of just forgot that Hawkinson was available. So that's why he slid to 7-2. So suck it. It's not a perfect process.
Oh, the Dobbins pick is great. I have no idea how I missed that, actually. I should have totally taken
so coming back after the Michael Thomas pick, a few other players went off the board, notably Amari Cooper, Hollywood Brown, both ETN and Claypool, as well as Kittle and Hawkinson. In my picks on the comeback, I took Jerry Jeudy and J.K. Dobbins. I also forgot Dobbins was picked until I looked up and saw I had Akers. And I'm like, oh, shoot, hurt running backs. Yeah, give me Dobbins. All the talent in the world. I don't know what's going on with Gus Edwards. So, you know what? Give me Dobbins, and hopefully he absolutely wins that role, and especially give me him in the 7th.
Yeah, I definitely forgot he was still out there. Jacob.
Yeah, we're just gonna keep jamming wide receivers here. And this guy, hopefully, I'm hoping that this is Aaron Rodgers, wide receiver 1 next year. I'll take Courtland Sutton, who has been putting up all sorts of alpha peripherals and has been continually let down by Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh my God, Teddy B sucks. Okay, he does. He sucks. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. He sucks. Oh gosh, I keep hitting the wrong button. I'm so sorry, everyone. We're getting close to the end of this draft.
Yeah, we got 1 round left, right?
We got 1 round left. We're gonna punch through it. I didn't think we actually would, but we're gonna punch through it. 100%. One thing I just want to talk about when it comes to people and their draft strategies heading into next season. I think it's important to attain as much information as you can, right? When it comes to what to do next draft season. I think not having a set strategy is the most beneficial strategy in draft season. If you go in thinking one way and one way only, I think you're going to end up ultimately kind of fucked. So, Jacob, every draft season, do you go in with a designated plan? Is it just most value possible, trade down no matter what? Or do you just kind of read the room and trust your gut as you go?
It really comes down to the room. I mean, I have certain inclinations, right? Like I'm generally not going to take second contract running backs with high capital. You know, I'm generally not going to take a lot of running backs in the middle rounds. And so that leads me towards, prioritization of young running backs off the top. Often I have certain thoughts on, what kind of quarterbacks I prioritize, but like those are all sort of just general heuristics. You apply that to each room. And so I did a ton of startups last year. Sometimes I started 4 straight running backs. Sometimes I didn't take a running back until round 8. It's just, that's the way it goes. I totally agree. You can't be, too locked into anything.
Billy, for you, do you sense like a pattern? Do you go in with the thought process? How are you looking at things like that?
Less as much thought process. I more kind of lock on to players I want to grab in the middle rounds.
Right.
Just because those are the players that are always going to be there, unless I'm drafting with people who obviously have the same taste as I do. So when I'm moving into these drafts, a lot more often, I'd rather go, all right, I love players who I can consistently get in the 6th round who everyone else values as an 8th. Like that's usually how I go into it. Then I kind of build my draft around that based on how I feel about the draft class.
Okay, I like that. I think that's definitely the way.
This is fucking ridiculous. Anyway, sorry. I'm waiting on someone to come back to me. I'm not going to.
No, I'm going to take him. Don't you worry. I know exactly who you're waiting on.
You better, because this is absolutely ridiculous.
I sure do, and you're not getting him.
Yeah.
I wish I knew who you guys were referring to. But I don't. So, all right. I feel like I'm definitely missing somebody big here at this point. And now
I just collect 2 more names off, and then we'll be all right. Okay.
Okay. Hold on.
He's talking to him like a fucking mob boss. Look, why don't you give me my money?
I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse.
I'm gonna Okay, so for this pick here, for everyone still hanging in there, we love you. I'm just scrolling through to see if there's a name that stands out to me.
Oh my goodness gracious me!
Because now I've got
Just take the pick.
Have I passed him? I must have passed him just by your reaction.
There are two people on the board that I think it's ridiculous they haven't been picked.
I actually agree with the number 2. I also have 2 very clearly at the top of my board, but 1 clearly at the top of the other.
Well, I passed on them legitimately, so now I'm like,
no, hey, just let
just
it go.
And then,
it'll be fun.
Draft Trey Sermon, baby, it's okay.
Oh,
all right, Jacob.
Please don't. Oh,
yeah.
Please, no, I don't want Montgomery at all. So
yeah, I'm taking David Montgomery.
In the 8th round, I guess. Yeah,
I get my 8th round RB1, baby. Let's go. He had usurped Davian Williams entirely out of this offense before he got hurt. He was getting third down work. He was getting passing work. Everybody knows I'm not exactly a David Montgomery lover, but I think he's a high-end RB2 still. Like Khalil Herbert's been a great story. I have him in a couple spots. I like Herbert, but I don't think he's any threat to Montgomery's job. Maybe he takes some of his between the 20s carries. That's fine. Herbert's thing is not the receiving game anyways. That's really all I care about Montgomery. If he gets the goal line work, the receiving work, whatever he loses between the 20s, not an issue with me. Yeah, that was the other guy.
Me and Jacob had the same 2.
Here, this one's too easy, Chris. It's the Falcons. Get out of here. Second round pick, Brett Favre. Who drafted Brett Favre? Second round pick. Yep.
I have a clear pick here though too. I had 3 guys.
Look, I actually want to talk about the player that Billy just freaked out about because it was Mike Williams. For people that didn't know, Mike Williams was
Billy has to buy my beer on the draft show next year.
Look, Mike Williams was goated for the first 3 weeks of the season, and lately he's gone back to his old ways. So right now it's kind of 50-50 for
this is great.
Top tier games and below games. So did we goat him too early, or do you still think that he is a bona fide wide receiver 1 the rest of the way?
Tom talk about Mike Williams like he should talk about Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I think a bit of both.
I already gave my take on Sam Darnold.
I don't know. I bought Mike Williams in a couple places. I'm still content with it. I think that if none of this had corresponded with an injury, then I would be more worried. But he got injured. He played like 30% of the snaps the Ravens game. To me, it's very conceivable that he's just less effective right now because he's been playing hurt. I still think he's going to come back. Was that Tony gone? That would have been the other guy I would have wanted.
Yeah, I took A.J. Dillon. Yeah, it was Elijah Moore who just went.
Oh, Elijah Moore. Okay, well, him too.
Yeah, we're setting off. I'm drafting Tony right here. Okay. So we had Elijah, Rondale, and Tony. Convert to league. Oh, we can convert this one. We can ride this one out and find. I could definitely fill this league. By the way, look, that's the mock draft. We had Billy, Lamar Jackson, AJ Brown, Terry McLaurin, Cam Akers, Tua, Judy, Dobbins, and Dylan. This is for 2022. We had Pitts, Jefferson, DJ Moore, Trey Lance, Deshaun Watson, Michael Thomas, controversial pick, Sutton, and David Montgomery in the 8th. And myself, it was Swift, Burrow, Cup, Javonte, Pittman, Higgins, Carr, and Bateman. I like all 3 of these teams. We're definitely going to put this up on Twitter and see what the people think. Jacob, you definitely get the most replies out here. So let's throw that up on the old Bird app because you're a fan. People,
I get less replies.
You're a man of the people.
I get a lot less replies this week because people don't know who I am because I lost that stupid bet to Dynasty Jake. My Twitter actions have never been so bad because I have to change for anyone that's not aware, I made a bet with Dynasty _Jake last week, who's one of my good friends on here, is a Colts or Titans fan. So on the Colts Titans game, anyway, because I lost, I had to change my profile picture to Derrick Henry. I have him photoshopped onto Ned Stark. And my name is King Henry, forever my daddy. And that lasts until this week's games kick off. And so because of that, I've been tweeting into the void because people just think that I'm this random person that they followed and don't know when they followed him. I look forward to becoming Jacob Sanderson again. But for now, I will post.
I look forward to becoming myself once again. In your true form.
All right.
Look, Billy, before we get out of here, what was your biggest take on that draft aside from the way I decided to do it?
But my biggest take on that draft is that there is one quarterback there that didn't go that I think absolutely should have gone. because I think he's going to start next year, and he's sitting behind me, and it's Jordan Love. And this also feeds into our weekly picks, which we may want to just run down really quickly.
Oh my God, it's like an hour 20.
Yeah, we're going to post it on Twitter.
This rapid fire, I got to run.
Sure. I got Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, Jalen Waddle, Zach Ertz. Let's go, baby.
I was totally going to post that on Twitter. But yeah, Jacob, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. We got Teddy B. Water. We got Jeremy Big Dick McNichols, Kadarius Toney, and the GOAT, Albert Okwuegbunam.
For myself, I'm going Trevor Siemian, Chase Edmonds, Jarvis Landry, and Conklin. Right now, Billy is up 4-3-1 on.
Catching you, Billy. I'm king.
Haven't won since week 4.
Well, that Michael Carter call last week, baby. I'm a victory lap that until I can't run no more.
What do you have for the people as we send off here?
Not a whole lot. Always follow me on Twitter at BigBillyFF. I came up with a couple stats that I found this week that I'm going to be putting up on Twitter over the next couple of days. So make sure you hop on there. You can take a couple guesses at the stats as we go along. But yeah, with that, I'm always glad to be back. School sucks. So I'm glad to be able to take some time out and rejoin with my buddies.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Oh, God. Jacob, what do you got for the people?
You can find me on Twitter at @F_RTDB. You can find my written work up on playerprofiler.com, including the Pareto Principles for Week 9 DFS. That'll be out tomorrow morning. I just talked with Ray. It'll be out tomorrow morning. You can find me right back here on the Full Tilt Dynasty YouTube page and the Dynasty Vipers YouTube page and Twitter with no free squares tomorrow afternoon. And, of course, I've been receiving so many awesome DMs from folks wanting fantasy advice, and I love it, but I'm trying to keep up with law school. I'm trying to keep up with articles, trying to keep up with podcasts. When I go on Twitter, I really want to try and create content for people to be able to see broadly. It's just hard to do that individualized. So I was trying to look at spots where I could provide some info one-on-one. And, I hope maybe we'll develop a bit of a forum for that later on as a Full Tilt crew. But for right now, if anybody wants to sign up for the Bulletproof Discord, of course, that being run by my good friend Drew Ozenchuk. I'm in there. I'm hanging out. I'll be doing some threads and stuff. And otherwise, if you want personalized fantasy advice, that's a place you can find me. I have Jacob's Jabronis, a channel in there. You can join there. You can fire questions at me, and I'll definitely respond to you at any and all times. So that's sort of the one update for me. Otherwise, hit me up on Twitter.
And for myself, you can always find me at Constable FF. You can find my work over there. Every time you go to trophysmack.com and hit the smack zone, you'll see all my images there. You can find my other it's a great name, fantastic group over there. You can always find my other stuff with Fantasy Intervention, right? Sunday morning, I'll be there with Chase on the Start and Sit show. We do Chasing Points with Dynasty Happy Hour. I'm over there. I'm kind of becoming all over the place, so people can get sick of me really quick. But I'm out there, right? And of course, I'm always here Tuesday, mostly always here Tuesday with my mate around the world, our mate around the world, Tom_Lee92 over there in Australia for the Fantasy Walkabout. Every Friday, we like to come here and, provide the best content that we can. And as we send off here, this is a perfect week to hammer home our fucking mantra for this show, which is just be good people. Right? Be good to each other. Don't be complete, absolute degenerates, and you will see results. I actually, for probably the first time ever, had somebody accuse me of being pro-injury, which I thought was absolutely hilarious as somebody who's gone through some of the most horrific ones you could imagine, including paralysis. Okay, so let's just be kind to each other before we attack one another and just have it spiral. Lots of things happening. Check in on your loved ones. Remember that clear eyes and full hearts can never lose, and that your best days are spent tilting. Jacob looks like he's about to go run a sprint and a marathon to get out of here. Good night, everybody. Thanks for hanging in there, tuning in. We'll see you over the weekend. Peace.
says here we should work in teams. Who wants to be my spotter?
I don't think you should be doing too much gambling tonight, Alan.
Gambling? Who said anything about gambling? It's not gambling when you know you're going to win.